Yes, thank you, oh Lord. So the next question is Mark from Atlanta, Georgia. Has anyone on the panel ever ignored warning signs when in a relationship because you were too in love with the wrong person? If so, how did you get over that? Well, I'm first going to say that I enjoy the fact that Mark, that he used the word two with two O's uh, when meaning also. So I just want to throw that out of the shit. So Mark, excellent job, my boy. But let me get to the question. The truth be told is I was in a relationship not too long ago where I think that I love the person more than they actually love me. And I'm going to be honest with you. I believe, okay, Creed, you can shake your wig all you want to, but the truth is this, is that I certainly believe that sometimes we want things and the other people just don't want those circumstances. And it's like, we can tell the person,
No, sir. No, sir.
I'm sorry, what was that? What do you mean, no, sir? So, okay, so you want to hear my story? Anyway, what is it?
Well, if you are talking about what I think you're talking about, no, sir. That's slander.
Well, yeah, you may need to edit all that out there, Miss Russia. But here's the thing that I'm trying to convey. I was so rudely interrupted by. I just think that sometimes people want to be in a healthy relationship with somebody. People will say, these are my needs. This is what I never had. The opposite party will say, this is what I can give you because this is what I want. For some people, they still don't want it. And I have been in situations recently that when you love somebody and you want to be with that person, you do look past things that they don't want that you do. And it's unfortunate because you want to spend the rest of your life with this person, but they're just not up for the task of what you are willing to offer them. And it's unfortunate.
No, sir.
And how you deal with it, mind your business, sir. And how do you get over that? The fact is, I think you have to get over it by getting over the person. I think that you just have to leave the person where you found them, if you will, and you have to move on to greener pastures, because if you want to get married or have children or buy a house or buy a car or move to a different state, whatever it may be, if this person just isn't on board with you and you're just going to stay because you are in love with the person, you don't have to cut that person off at some point because you're not living your authentic self, which everybody loves to talk about nowadays, right?
You're not even talking authentic, sir.
Until you being authentic is saying that you want all of these things in your life, and the other person saying, no, I don't want any of that.
Corwin, and then baby, I'm gonna call you when we done with this because I'm gonna light you up.
Well, and I'm not gonna answer the phone when you call after this. So
yeah, I'm gonna light you up because I know some background. I'll be like, no, sir, no, sir.
So back to what I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted. All I'm saying is that you're not living your authentic self if you put your dreams and your wants to the side just because you're in love with somebody. People are not going to fall into what you want, so you might as well just let it go. Cool.
I need a second to recoup. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, well, you do that, sis. You do that.
I'll go. Have you ever ignored? Yes, I have. I was I was more in love with this person than he was with me. And I knew it was time for me to go. And I made every excuse not to go. And yeah, I looked past stuff, even him cheating. For me, getting smart with me and arguing with me is also a big thing. So getting past the insults and, no support. I mean, it even when it was being waved in my face, I'm like, oh, he's just adjusting. We didn't live together until after we got married. And so we're like, oh, I made an excuse for everything. He's just adjusting, or I don't look a certain way. I don't talk a certain way. I just ignored every warning sign and every blatant sign just right there. Because I was too in love. And I waited around for probably too long. I say everybody has a breaking point. And so with the second part with that question, how did you get over that? I guess I'm over it now, but you hit that breaking point and then you're like, no more. And so eventually I was able to walk away, but I did ignore everything. Everybody warned me not to be with this person. I was like, oh, you guys are just hating. You don't want me to be happy, blah, blah, blah. And so, I ended up falling super, super hard and made every excuse not to go. And then eventually, when I couldn't ignore it no more, it was time to go. So I left.
I would just like to acknowledge all the clapping and the nodding. Now, honestly, because I certainly feel for you in your situation, and I certainly do. Because I will say that when I was bringing up a point about my own life, all I got was jeers and and crazy looks and whatnot. So there's certainly a thing about when a man is being victimized.
We personally know you in your situations.
Well, what does that mean? What does that mean? You see what I'm saying? This is a very sexist group, okay? Because again, when I was talking about my pain and my troubles, they're like, oh, well, who gives a shit? But when it comes to the women, oh my gosh. He said that your meatloaf wasn't tender? That bastard, that dirty, filthy bastard. But I say, well, I wanted this and the woman didn't want it. Well, that's just, well, Scott, that's your own motherfucking problem.
No, because no, Cohen. It could be any other guy. We'd be like, oh, okay, I want to know the story behind that.
Oh, so Corwin deserved the scorn. Corwin deserved the scorn. That what you're saying, guys?
Bye, Cohen. What I'm saying is we know the other half of that. So for us to not put you on blast and try to keep,
put me on blast. You can put me on the stage while I can. Stop clapping your hands. Stop clapping your hands.
Whatever. That's why people are trash. You're trash. Anyway, the reason we are clapping our hands and nodding and stuff is because we're like, okay, girl, I know you hear this. This Negro is really on one. Like, is he saying that?
You are congratulating the woman for what she did to me.
I'm muting myself, but yes.
Yeah, you probably should have did that 20 seconds ago. The thing is, so you guys are congratulating the hurt that a woman put a man, i.e. me, through. But then when a man
I was congratulating Alicia for leaving a bad situation. What you talking about?
Well, where's my so
you
where's my
congratulations for I'll say it. I'll just put it out there.
Miss Russia. You know Miss Russia.
So I guess it's my turn. Yes, I have definitely ignored red flags a few times. I am ashamed to admit it, but I'm not, because I definitely being raised in Christianity, I got lost in the sauce of forgiveness. I kind of went on that pretty hard, and I was a little bit naive when I was younger, and I thought forgiving somebody means you had to fairly give them another chance. And it didn't matter what they did before. It didn't matter, how mean they were, or, all that stuff. If you truly forgave them, you would give them another chance, So I fell into that more than I should have. But, I naively thought that, people were, good at heart, and they just made mistakes, and they didn't really do things to really be mean to people. And, I didn't feel like people, and then, it just keeps going on for a while. And then you have children, and it's like, okay, I don't think this is a good situation. And you know, when I got out of my situations, I more so did it for the kids, you know, because I didn't feel like they should be in those environments, you know, so that gave me a lot of courage to walk away from those situations. And then as I, you know, grew up and learned more about about those things, I, you know, was able to recognize, you know, you don't always take people for their word, but you have to look at the actions, you know, and the actions do truly speak louder than words, than what people say. So now that I know those things, I find myself in a better situation where, you know, my husband has proven by action, you know, before we even entered into a relationship, you know, he showed me how much, you know, he was into me and that he cared about me. And then I was like, okay, I think I like you. I think I'm ready to date, you know, and ended up being something very fruitful because I was paying more attention to the actions and, you know, instead of just taking people at their word.
Well said. Let me look at the question again. Have I ignored warning signs? Absolutely. I was in a situation where I ignored a whole bunch of warning signs. And I actually realized later on that it wasn't even because I loved him. You know, I realized I didn't love him. And he'd probably be hurt to hear that, but I don't care. I didn't love him. I stayed with him almost like it's, you know, like out of some trauma bonding type of stuff. You know, I was in a really, you know, emotionally kind of fragile and damaged place. And all of y'all know about that in terms of just like family dynamics. There was a lot of shifting, a lot of changing. My father passed away. And I looked back years later and I'm like, you know, and I'm not saying, oh God, if you hadn't taken my father, I don't want to do that. But I definitely know that, like, if my dad would have never died and it wouldn't have exposed this extreme vulnerability in me, he wouldn't have ever been able to even get, you know, within 100 feet of me. He just wouldn't have been able to. So I felt kind of like, you know, I looked past certain things or whatever. And I started to realize you didn't even love him. I guess in essence, I used him. You know, I didn't use him for finances because he had his own money, but he didn't give it to me, which was a problem. Yeah, I guess some sense of companionship, but it was more of a really toxic relationship where it was about, how do I dominate this person? How do I break this person down? Well, I'm sorry, you know, I'm Elray Scott's daughter, and you just can't come over here thinking you're going to break me down, because my daddy had already done a work on the whole family. We're pretty tough over here. We're pretty tough in the Scott family, baby. So, you know, if you're going to come, you better bring a Uzi, because it ain't taking me out. So, yeah, how I got out of that situation was just, I started auditioning. I started holding, you know, open call auditions. You know, and and people are like, what is that? I'm gonna tell you that when you want to move on,
cheating.
When you want so when you want to move on, okay? I think that because I was in such a weak and broken state from like life, you know what I'm saying? That I was like, I need somebody new to put my focus on. You know what I'm saying? And now, as a woman who just turned 36 on Saturday, I don't need, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's, you know, God forbid something go crazy. Thank you. Go crazy with my marriage today. I don't need to fill my husband's spot with a new guy in order for me to get over him, because I'm a grown woman now. Like I can stand in my own strength, right? I don't need that. But when I was younger, I was holding auditions, you know, and so when I mean auditions, I mean just that. I would go out with other people. I would go out with other people, usually people from school. Like me and Monica, we both went to Bates Technical College in Tacoma at the same time. I would see her in like the courtyard playing hacky sack and everything. And just a side note, I remember she would be at school, and Monica came to school every day, just like dressed to the nines. I mean, I try to do my thing too, but she always came through. And I was like, my God, she's so gorgeous. And it wasn't like a jealousy. I was super enamored by her. I was like, how could somebody be this attractive? Like, I was just like, she's so beautiful to me. You know what I mean? So anyway, and she ended up becoming like my best friend and my sister. But yeah, hot girl right there was shutting the whole school down and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Those good old days back at dates. But yeah, I was holding auditions at whatever. I was holding auditions at school, you know what I mean? Like in between classes, and somebody wants to go out to lunch. Okay. And so I was like, I need to get up out of this situation. And nobody I auditioned at that time was, you know, whatever. But this was my thought process. And as jacked up as it is now that I can see that, my whole thing, I kept having a voice in the back of my mind saying to me, if you leave, stay gone. Do not go back to him. If you have to go back to him, it's going to be way worse. So my way of thinking about that was, okay, let me put somebody in that seat. So then there's no reason for me to go back to him, right?
Okay, let me stop you a second.
Listen, I'm not done with my story. It's dysfunctional. No, somebody knew him. I know that it's dysfunctional. I was like,
so you were still in a relationship with this other person?
I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna tell it myself. Don't you worry. Corenna is an open book like a Bible. We tell the truth over here. I was 17, 18 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't making the best decisions, but I was not sleeping with anybody. So get that together. Okay, these legs stayed closed. All right, praise God. So yeah, then you know, my husband came around. And I was at the wit's end with this other guy, and he came through, and I was like, little daddy got some sauce on him, you know what I'm saying? So in the process, you know, we're gonna have to do an after show one day where we're gonna have to talk about all that, because that whole situation was just like pretty crazy. Corwin knows, he was there. But yeah, so I met my husband at the time, and he was just like amazing. Shut up. He was amazing. And so we ended up having a lot of fun together. So it was quite clear after one encounter with my husband, hanging out at his dad's house, just chilling out, watching music videos, just chilling and eating, that I was like, I'm going to break up with that other guy. Because what I experienced in a few short hours with this new guy was like, what was I doing for the last 2 years with this bum? You know what I'm saying? He bought me flowers, willing to pay for things, just being so chivalrous, you know, being very kind, very affectionate. It wasn't like, you know what I'm saying, let me see what that ass do. No, none of that. You know, it was not, sex wasn't on the table. It wasn't trying to get at me in that way, but just very much connecting. So that's how I got over that bad situation. I don't recommend that. I think that
can I interject a second?
I'm gonna clean up myself. Okay, let me clean this up. All right.
Well, let me just ask you, a quick question, please.
You're trying to make me look bad.
So, no, not at all. So you were saying that your husband kind of, he bought you flowers and was willing to pay for things. I do remember a few weeks ago we had talked about men that led with their wallets. So would you say
this is why nobody talks to you?
I'm just asking a question.
Please.
Because the first thing out of your mouth was that he bought me flowers and he was willing to buy things.
Anyways, this man was kind to me in a way that I had not experienced in my past. And it was this really, really nice, thank you, Kyrie. And it was really nice to be in a situation. I mean, it was just one encounter. One encounter made me know, wow, okay, this other situation has to go. And even if me and T's relationship didn't grow, it was enough of like a refreshing situation to see, you don't have to put up with that, sis. You know what I mean? So again, I don't recommend that. I don't recommend that you have to put somebody in somebody else's seat in order for you to move on. I say find enough self-love, enough self-strength, get yourself around people who literally care about you, who want to speak life to you. Because if you're not careful, you can get yourself into another very ugly situation. I'm not proud of it, but I am proud of it. It's my story. I did what I had to do. It was toxic, but where my life was at and the condition of my family, we was all a bit toxic, making bad decisions. So it was what it was. Bye.
And I don't think buying flowers is leading with your wallet, Corwin. That's pretty cheap, so cut it out.
Pardon me, the young lady said that he was willing to buy her things. Those were her exact words. Now, again, I had said that when a man is trying to date,
I said pay for stuff,
and get to know her, that he is going to have to put out a few quid, right, to get to know her, right? But no, that was a man who was leading with his wallet. You people are so one-sided.
Somebody's a child on a
wild here, man.
buying a $20 to $40 bouquet of flowers is completely different, sir. Calm down.
We're looking more at $12 from Safeway, but here's the thing: I'm not knocking what the man did at all. All that I'm saying is, a few weeks ago, a man was leading with his wallet.
Get off.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Yeah, shut up. I'm done with you. Alicia, the next question is yours.
Y'all gonna kill me today. Okay.
Yes, good.
Okay. Kaya from Honolulu, Hawaii says, Malia comes off like a super confident woman, but reading her thoughts of herself in this chapter was shocking. Her self-esteem was very low. She allowed herself to get played. Why would anyone allow themselves to be cheated on like this? Allow themselves to be cheated on. I don't think that's, I don't know if that's the right, I don't think that's the right choice of words. Why would anyone allow themselves to be cheated on? I think it goes back to maybe a question or two back about women tending to blame themselves. Yeah, I'm not sure how.
Well, I can interject for a second.
I'm not sure because she's stating a fact and then she's saying, why would anyone allow themselves to be cheated on like this? It could be a self-esteem issue. That's just what she did have low self-esteem. You hear her almost tearing herself down, being angry at herself, about the cheating and the humiliation. But I don't think she allowed that. As soon as this happened, they split. So there was some action taken. She's not still with the guy. She's trying to move on from dealing with him. So people just, they could be afraid. They could be afraid of moving on, moving forward. They'll put up with whatever, it could be cheating. It could be, God forbid, domestic violence. It could be anything, even verbal abuse. People just don't know how to break away sometimes. Yeah, just afraid. I don't think she allowed him to cheat. I guess she thought she forgave him for it the first time around.
You didn't give him a hall pass.
Right. He wasn't given a pass. Like, okay. Like those couples me and Corenna was talking about, like, how some people are like, well, you could cheat, but cheat respectfully. Don't bring a child back in the house. Don't blah, blah, blah. That would be allowing. But no, they split. She's trying to move on and heal from that. So that's all. That's the best way I can answer that question. Kyrie, what do you think?
I think Mr. Ray's itching to speak. Go ahead, Corwin. What trash you got for us?
I love you too, Miss Russia. No, listen, I do believe, I do agree with Kaya. I do believe that people can allow themselves to be cheated on. Remember that song, I don't care about the other girls as long as you're good to me. I think that women at times will know what their man is up to, but as long as he is providing her with the ins and outs that she wants, and he is supplying her with good stuff in the bedroom, you do have a lot of women that will turn a blind eye to a cheating man. And I do think that Malia, who gave this guy another chance after he had cheated on her already while they were still back home, had the audacity to believe that he was going to be a faithful guy at college. So do I think that she allowed it to happen? Yes. Because if she knew her self-worth and her self-value, she would have been like, nah, Mr. Bailey, nah, and just would have walked away. Now, it's one thing if the man is still in the house, and it's hard to walk away when somebody's paying half the bills or all the bills. But they weren't living in the same home. They didn't have any children together. He then went off to college to go do some more cheating. So the thing is that she decided to stay with this man regardless of what he had done. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't mean no disrespect, but I know of another circumstance that this actually kind of reminds me of somebody who did something very similar. And the thing is, when he came back on the permanent, he was still on the same farfignugan, and he was still doing the same stuff. So some people do allow it to happen by staying. But I also understand that if you don't have any kids and you don't live in the same home, then you don't have to put up with that, and you shouldn't have to. I am a father of daughters. I would not want any of my daughters to stay with somebody who is mistreating them. But I also understand when you get entangled with somebody and you mix bills and household goods and children, it's not so easy to walk away, and it becomes very hard and very difficult. It's very unfortunate because then a lot of times women can feel trapped. And because the man made sure that she feels trapped.
Well, I think it's a lot of what Corenna touched on earlier about the society that Malia is born into, you know, in Rose City, and the dynamic of families and how the couples are getting together. And it's not really, you're not getting together because you just are so in love with this person. And, you know, you have this fairy tale planned out, even though I think Malia did also, but still it's part of the status in the community. It's a part of marrying for the longevity of your family name, linking up with this family name, you know. So I think a large portion of why she stayed after he cheated the first time and tried to overlook a few things is because she had to. I mean, that's just the nature of things. That's just the way things work, you know, in Rose City. But on the other end, in reality, I know, just speaking from experience myself, I mean, you don't expect these things to happen. And then when they do, it's like, you know, it's a part of like embarrassing, you know, what do you do now? You know, and then you have to tell your family and your friends. And it's like this whole thing that you go through, and you just kind of, you know, and then they come home with the apologies and I'm sorry, and, you know, give me another chance. And you still have feelings for this person, you know, and, you know, you're already married to this person. So you try to just give it your best, you know, and try again. And then they do something else again. And so, you know, like me, I just get quiet and start planning. Like my mom always told me, you always have a plan B, have a plan C. And, you know, if you have extra time in your day, you better be working on a plan D. You know, you always have a backup plan, you know. So I've been really good at that, just in case, even though you don't harp on the just in case, you don't focus on it, but you do inevitably have to plan for it, because people, they tend to be really messed up. I'm not trying to sound emotional. I'm on some pain medicine, so it's kind of making my voice shaky talking about stuff. So these are not true emotions here. I had surgery last week, so I'm on some nice medicine. So if I sound
no worries, sis. Robitussin does the same thing to me too.
Huh?
No, I said, hey, I understand. Robitussin does the same thing to me too.
I just wasn't sure if I was sounding emotional as I sound to myself. So, but yeah, I mean, it's always a tough decision, especially when you have to sit back and think of, you know, your family being torn apart, you know, and having to separate the kids and, you know, all that jazz. So, you know, I think like Alicia said, I don't think that's the right way to word it. Like, why would somebody allow themselves to be cheated on? Nobody allows it. Nobody wants that to happen. And, you know what I'm saying? It's not a jackpot lottery. No, I mean, you know, nobody wants that to happen. But inevitably, unfortunately, these things do happen, and then people just have to consider, you know, what's the next move? What does my life look like from here on out? Do I just stay and put up with this because I want to have somebody, even if they're not good to me? I just want somebody here. You know, maybe this person helps with the bills. You know, that was never the case for me. So I never had to stay for financial reasons because I was always footing everything. You know, so when I got things together behind the scenes, I made me a little quiet exit and, you know, moved on. So that's my answer.
Thank you. I appreciate what everyone had to contribute. I don't know about Corwin yet. I would say that I think that people have this idea that people who come off as super confident don't experience bouts of low self-esteem or don't experience people cheating on them or playing with them, with their emotions. Do I think that Malia, in essence, allowed herself to be cheated on? No, because allowing somebody to cheat on you means that you have to give them permission. You have to say, you have the permission to go out and sleep with other people, but do it respectfully, which I don't know how you could cheat respectfully. I would say at the end of the day, he did what he did, and she just basically had to pick up the pieces from the things that Mike did to her. Did she allow herself to get played? I mean, you could look at it like that. You can say, you know, this person has been cheating on you, mistreating you, doing you dirty, like you're getting played. Yeah, in essence, you can say that. But I want to say ultimately, you have to find the courage to get up and leave certain situations. And she did. She was like, hey, this treatment wasn't the way that I thought it would go. And so I'm going to say that even though he broke it off 2 weeks before he married somebody else, I believe that if he would have married her and continued on doing whatever he was doing with Bianca, Malia would have had to divorce him too. So, yeah, I think that sometimes you can be naive about love. And, you know, that song that says, you know, everybody plays the fool. You know, life lessons learned. You live, you learn, and you understand what can't be accepted, and you move on. So, next question.
Next question, Tiara from Adamsville, Tennessee. Antonio has no regard for Malia and her safety. He is obsessed with impressing his business associates. This guy, Antonio, spells out big trouble. I don't think he can be trusted. I would agree with you, Tiara. Yeah, jury's still out. But yeah, from who Antonio has been introducing Malia to, I really think he's just hoping that she's going to turn him down, just knowing, oh, Malia's not going to go for that, you know, so he feels safe in that. He's not thinking that, what if she does say yes, you know, and then how am I going to prepare for that? But, you know, if Malia does go for Chan, I'm wondering how that's going to play out between Chan and Antonio down the road, you know, if anything else happens. But jury's still out. We'll see. Keep reading.
Well, I will go then. Let me look over the question again. Yeah, it doesn't really seem like Antonio has any regard for anybody's safety at this point. He seems to be serving Malia up on a platter to Chan. And even though, you know, he might think that Malia will eventually kind of just send Chan packing, you can't know one way or another if she will or if she won't. So the best thing you can do is try to protect people by thinking ahead. Like, this guy is in the streets, he's calculated. You have to always think about possibilities and probabilities, and he's not calculating things correctly. So I definitely think Antonio has the potential to be trouble. His lifestyle already is very reckless. So that's my take. Alicia, what's your thoughts?
Pretty much the same as you and Kyrie and Tiara. I don't think he could be trusted either. Yeah, I don't think he could be trusted, and I don't think he has I wouldn't say no regard. I mean, that's his friend, but at the same time, he it's, you know, he is obsessed with impressing Chan. I think if it was anybody else, he'd be like, oh, no, that's not the route you want to go. But with her, oh, no, you got to stay. He could obviously see something is wrong and she's trying to leave. He's like, no, you got to stay because it's about, her meeting Chan, more other than something is really bothering her. So, yeah, I agree. He's trouble. He could be trouble. Rowan, you still around?
Yeah, I'm still here. Honestly, Antonio is a little scumbag. He is serving up his friend who he knows is not cut out for the kind of lifestyle that Chan's about. You also know that Chan is the kind of guy that doesn't take no for an answer, and that Malia being such a strong-minded individual and strong-willed individual, that if anything that Chan asks or demands of her, she's going to reject. He apparently doesn't care about her safety or her life, and that is the reason why he has put her in this predicament. He is a horrible individual. Let me throw that out there. Antonio is probably the worst out of the bunch because he is literally serving up his friend to the wolves.
Thank you, Corwin, for that. So
I actually agree with you, Corwin, finally.
Yeah.
You would probably agree more if it was just like you and I and Cuz and Sis weren't here. You'd be like, all right, man. You're making some good points today, Scott. I like that, bro.
So I'm the problem. It's me. I'm the ungodly influence. All right. Yes. So this question I'm going to answer. Yes. All right. Anyway, now I'm sounding like my mother. Okay, so this is from Angie from Tacoma. She writes, how does Antonio want Malia but has a whole fiance? Who wants to take that?
Greedy. Go ahead, Corwin.
Go ahead, Mitt. Well, no, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I mean? It's like the old adage, right? Have your cake and eat it too. I'm gonna be honest with you. Some men do not want to be in a three-way relationship, nor do they want to have a three-way sex. However, at times they do want a wife, and then they want something on the side. They want somewhere to go to find comfort when their wife and their family life just isn't what they want it to be. Now, is it right? No. Should people be doing this? No, not whatsoever, because you can end up breaking your wife's heart and hurting your children. So do I think it's right? No. Do I think that is the main cause and the main reason? Yes. Men want a place of peace. They also just want some variety.
I'm gonna be honest, I guess the man cave is not a place that you can find some peace at. But if I said I went to go find me some peace in somebody else's drawers, you like, what, Korea, you're an animal. Like, you would disown me as your own family. So, you're a hypocrite.
Yeah, you're saying that men want their peace, but they're causing chaos by introducing all these characters into their lives. It's only a matter of time before the wife and the side chick meet up and start throwing hands. So there's your peace.
So the chaos that you are referring to actually is going to be happening between the two birds, not the man. The man isn't the one causing the chaos. He's not going over to someone else's house.
He's a common denominator, buddy. He's a common denominator.
Exactly. And if he's married to her, that chaos can be a divorce. It could be child support, alimony, him not paying all of those things.
The wife doesn't have to leave because the wife does not have to leave because.
No, you're right. The wife doesn't have to leave. She just has to get even. Where's his brother at? Where's his daddy at? Where his grandpa at? Yeah, I'm going there.
Where's my 45 at? Where's my shotgun at? I'm gonna cut the seatbelts on your car. No, here's the thing, right? No, I'm just playing. But no, I'm just gonna say this, right? I certainly think that people should not have extramarital affairs, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that women need to be honest with themselves, and I've said this before. A man is only as faithful as his options. Now, I'm gonna just be honest with you. Women have options every day, and I mean from some of the best to the very worst. A woman could get down with almost anybody on this planet. Men have very limited options. And when okay, see, Corenna, you're over there with the eye rolling, and I'm trying to tell you guys something here that is real, that your husbands will not tell you. If a man has an attractive wife, he knows that any man on this planet she could have, but she chooses to be with him. But men know that they can't get with every woman on the planet. So if they have an option that comes up, sometimes they'll take it because they figure, I can't pass this up. Women don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. And I'm just telling you guys the facts. And if men were honest, they would say the same thing too. Okay, Corenna, well, you just keep on with the head bob.
But men are going around with that mentality that they can get in anyone and pull anyone and actually sleeping with everyone. So how does that make sense?
No, let's be honest about it, Miss Russia. Typically, if a man has a beautiful wife, he's not out cheating with other beautiful women. He has, you know, the filet mignon or the ribeye is saying at home. He is going out for tater tots and fish sticks. That's what he is cheating with. And the reason why he's with the tater tots and the fish sticks is because she doesn't take a lot of him for it doesn't take a lot of pull to get her. So he knew that he had to pull out the wallet and the charm and the kindness and the dressing nice to be with the top notch he has given a ring to. The other person, he doesn't want to have to go through all that because that is time consuming. So what he's going to do is, instead of him taking her to the best restaurants in town, he's going to take her over to Applebee's or over to the Olive Garden. And here's the thing, because no other man has even taken her there and paid, the woman feels like she's in hog heaven because of the little bit that he does.
Well, it sounds like you're speaking from experience, so I guess I'll take your
word.
Trust
me, sis. Oh, trust me, sis. Oh, trust me, sis. There are certain places that when I was not a nice guy, which I am now, but when I was not a nice guy, there were certain places that I took certain women to, and then there were other places that I took other women to. So and I'm going to give men a tip.
No. So where do you take women to that you want to be a bad guy with? Where are some of those locations?
Sherry's.
No, I don't do Sherry's because it takes of the food. But like I said, you take her to some place that isn't high tone and whatnot, right? Where you enjoy the food. I don't really enjoy the food from Applebee's or Chili's or TGI. I don't really enjoy any of that food. But you're taking the bird out there because oh man, I'm gonna get that riblet special and whatnot, right? So for her, maybe I don't know, maybe she's feeling good. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that I like food from certain places, and so that's why I go. I will give men two other tips that I don't think that men should do, but I actually know this isn't a tip for men. This is a tip for women. Sometimes you will have a man that will find himself a side piece out of his county or out of the area code. So he'll find a young lady who is not in his geographical area. That way he can hold her hand in public and he can be seen with her at restaurants without fear of running into her family, her friends, or his friends. The other thing is too, Airbnb. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of men will tell you that they stay. No, Corenna,
you are so toxic.
I'm trying to give women tips. I'm trying to give women tips, Corenna, and you don't want to listen. I'm trying to give women tips.
I'm trying to say is
that a man will also rent an Airbnb to prove that he has a home. And he'll take this young lady to his Airbnb and say, oh, you live in such a beautiful home and all this is great. The man actually has a home elsewhere with his wife and children, but he will get this, get this condo or get this apartment or get this house to prove to the lady that he lives alone.
You can move in with me one day, and then she comes back 2 weeks later after he goes to her, and they let it be known we're renting the Airbnb. This is an Airbnb. You got lured by a psychopath.
Well, Corenna, I would say more of a sociopath. But here's the thing, Corenna. I have known guys who have gone to Turo and they have rented cars and whatnot just so the woman wouldn't know the kind of car that he drove. I'm just letting you. I'm just trying to let the ladies know what's going on.
That's what that is. And let's just throw that out there, people. If you can't be faithful to one woman, tell that woman that. You might find out that you shut your mouth. You might find that woman is like, you know what? Hey, I like girls too, right? And then maybe she's cool with you having some. Because I know somebody right now, who lives in another state, and the woman is married, and her husband allows her to have a girlfriend, and the girlfriend and her have a whole relationship. They got kids, everything, and the kids call the other woman mom, and she comes over and all that. Like, she told her husband from jump, she could not be married to him without having a girlfriend. A lot of women will get off into that. So again, is it right? It's really kind of up to what goes on within your relationship, if that's how you guys like to get down. But again, folks, be honest. If you don't see yourself being a type of guy who's like, I can't be with one woman, I'm polyamorous, or I like multiple people, or you're a swinger, just put that out there in them streets, and you pick up somebody who's on that same wavelength with you, who's okay with you having the extracurricular activities. Maybe they're gonna have them a couple extracurriculars, you know what I'm saying? But Corwin and that's why I saw you come up off me. I saw you come up off me because you're gonna tell me you're not gonna share. And that's Corwin's whole thing right there. Me and my brother were talking about that last week. He's against men being open about what they want because he doesn't want his woman out there getting herself another amigo.
And let me be honest with you, right? The situation in the other state that you are talking about, I've seen the pictures of the people and they all look nuts. So who cares about them? What I'm saying about in reality with people that actually look human, what I'm saying is and whatnot, is that no, I do not think that men can be honest, because again, if you have a beautiful wife,
we went down a rabbit hole. The question was about the fact that Antonio has a fiance and he wants Malia. Antonio's being selfish. That's what Antonio's being. In the words of Corey, he wants to have his cake. He wants to eat it too. He wants a piece of cheesecake. He wants a sweet potato pie. He wants pecan pie. He wants banana pudding. He wants some of that peach pound cake. He wants it all. And so no, shut up. I'm not surprised that Antonio wants Malia. A lot of men, even if they're not powerful, they want to have as many women in the stable lined up. So when they have those hard, stressful days and he just needs somebody to hold him, he's got options. So I'm not surprised he's selfish.
That's not true. And I'm going to be honest with you about something else and maybe this has to do with Antonio. I don't think that men necessarily want options. I just believe that men have low tolerances and whatnot, and they just don't know how to act as adults.
All right, so ladies, have you guys answered the question? Because I'm done with him. We have gone down a rabbit hole.
That's fine.
I think that are we talking about Antonio?
Yeah, Antonio wanting Malia, but being basically engaged to be married.
Yeah, I think Antonio is marrying for convenience. I don't think he really wants to marry April, but for whatever reason, he feels like he needs to. And then she's probably somebody that will let him, somebody that won't question, where he's at, or what he's doing, or, let him be free, where he knows that Malia probably wouldn't be going for a lot of what he got going on. So I think that's why his heart, his true heart, has always been for Malia, but he knows she's really, out of reach for him because of his lifestyle. So for the sake of having somebody, convenience works sometimes. So that's my thoughts on that.
So actually, I have a quick question. Does Mike and Antonio, are they? No, just a quick question. No, just a quick question. No, it's about Antonio and Mike. Are they all the so is Mike and Antonio and Malia and Eva, are they all the same age?
Yeah, they went to school together.
Yeah, they're all in the same age.
So they all know each other.
Yeah.
They all know each other. How did Mike and Antonio both end up as attorneys?
I don't know. Malia's grandfather's a judge. So let's keep going. Alicia, you're next.
I did not know that at all.
Yes.
Antonio wants Malia, even though he has a fiance, he wants Malia, but knows that he can't have her. So the next thing is he's not going to be by himself. So he has this fiance, and he knows that Malia ain't going to go for him. You know, if she knew his whole lifestyle, the stuff that he's hiding from her. That's all.
I fully agree. All right. Gary from Savannah says, well, Savannah, Georgia says, Chan and Malia have an undeniable connection. If a man like Chan falls in love, can it change his ways? I'm sorry, I don't believe that love erases anything. I think that we've been brought up to believe that love conquers all. It doesn't. It doesn't. I believe change happens when you want to change. You can't force a person into change. We have a relative in Tacoma who lives a lifestyle that no one really quite understands. And we have offered this person shelter, and they refuse to take it. This individual has been living on the streets since they were a teenager, got strung out on drugs, started prostituting, okay? As a family, multiple people have held interventions. Let's get you off the street. Let's do this. And the person comes back and they're here for a little bit, then they're out. And they just do this and they do that. And they talk a good game, but they don't want the help. So no, you can love people so much, but love won't change another person's behavior. You're acting like love has the ability to use some form of force or authority to change a person's mind, okay? People have free will and free actions, and we need to allow people to own their own. We can't say, well, if I love you hard enough, you'll stop using drugs. No, because you hear that even with children will say, if my mom or my dad loved me enough, you know, they wouldn't have been doing drugs, they wouldn't have been an alcoholic, or they wouldn't have did these things. Love wasn't the thing. It wasn't. You have to be strong enough to want to change. So love is very powerful, but I also believe that a person's self-will is extremely powerful, and we have to give credit to that person to say, if you want to change, you will change. But if you do not want to change, you're not changing for nobody. Who wants to answer next?
I'll say something if I may. Gare Bear, that was a great question. I'll say that love has nothing to do with business, and business has nothing to do with love. Who I lay down with that night and make scream has nothing to do with how I feed my children in the daytime. So
that last little piece, we didn't need to know none of that. And I doubt anybody's screaming.
And I bet you ain't even nobody screaming. That's the point. You just all you're just telling lies.
Well, how you know, cuz? How you know, cuz?
just lying. Lord.
You don't know what's going on in my neck of the woods. You mind your business.
Oh, God. Okay, they have an undeniable connection. If a man like Chan falls in love, can it change his ways? I think yeah, what Corenna said, he has to want to. There has to be a desire. If there's no the reason why I'm back and forth with it is because you know, if they fall in love deep, you know, and it goes somewhere, they get married, they have children, they start but he has legit businesses too. I'm sorry, I go back and forth in my head about stuff. If it could possibly affect his family, future kids, and his future with her, but that all falls back to if he wants to. I don't think love alone can do that. Not love alone. Has to be some other factors thrown in there, possibly losing a couple businesses, going to jail, losing your children, her finding someone else. I mean, there's a whole lot of factors that would go into somebody changing, but like just for right now, just, oh, you're so hot, we have this connection, I just don't want to do what I do anymore. Nah, not in real life anyway. So That's my answer.
Absolutely not. Chan's not even looking to change his ways. He's not interested. Those crime boss triad roots run deep. I mean, that's hardcore family business for life. Like, you're born in it, you're gonna die till you get out of it. So I definitely don't think he's even thinking about, I need to become a different man or a better man for her. No, he's trying to fit her into his world. So yeah, I don't think that's anywhere in Chan's mind as far as changing what he has going on. But lives are definitely going to be changed around them. And I think he can possibly become even more dangerous by having Malia in his life. And if they do have children in the future, I mean, that's just more people and assets that he has to protect. And we've already seen a glimpse of him being a little bit overprotective, and he hasn't even met Malia yet, and he's already like, what's he doing talking to my woman, type of behavior. So yeah.
Gaslighter number 1. What are your thoughts? Can love change a human being like Chan?
Well, I've already answered their mean lady part 2.
Did you? It was probably something crazy. So, all right. Well, Alicia, the next question is yours.
Okay. Olivia from Phoenix, Arizona says, Mike became very angry with Malia when he saw her with another man. Is he dangerous? Definitely. Could be. He did grab her by the arm at some point, yelled at her, called her all type of names. And when he saw her, he lost himself when he saw her not only curb him and do it publicly, but after publicly curbing him, that same crowd of people saw her walking hand in hand and with this guy, and he even stared back. Chan gave him all the smoke through the eyes, like, okay, we could do this one, whatever y'all had is done, and if it ain't, I'll take you out, and so that angered him, almost challenged him. And so he definitely has the potential to be dangerous. He's a fit dude. He works out, and Chan ain't one to back away either. So they could definitely butt heads, and get down. So I think he's dangerous. Plus, that also pairs with the being mentally unstable part of it too. He's crazy. He already thinks of Malia as like his property, as somebody taking his property. And so, definitely, I think he's dangerous. What do you think, Kyrie?
A part of me, I don't feel like Mike is dangerous. I just feel like, he thinks he's this top dog, got a lot to say, showboats for his friends. He might get a little status because he's an attorney. Maybe he can call some people for some strings. But I think if Chan was to like back him down a dark alleyway, that end would go cowering, whimpering with his tail between his legs. So I think
I see that.
He puts on, I get that kind of just from that type of character that I've seen in men like that. They're all chauvinistic and all this in front of a woman, but when a real man steps up to him, it's like, hey bro, what do you even got to do like that? Or or they could be like yelling and saying all that until we go outside, and then they change their tune. So who's to say? But I don't think he's that tough. Corwin, I know you got some trash.
Do I think that Mike is dangerous? I think he can be dangerous. I think if he was in a situation where it was just him and Mel in a room together and she didn't give in to what he wanted, I do think he would become physical. And I think that he even has the makings of becoming a rapist.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree, Corwin. just the way Mike flashed when he was like talking in his head, there was an extreme rage. Like he wasn't even mad when she cussed him out. That turned him on. That was funny. And remember, I was saying it's almost like, what are those triggers? What is it going to be the thing that's going to set you off? And the fact that his boy is like, yo, I'm saying she out there with this other dude, like, and they like, oh, your girl, she got a man, and he's just fuming. You know, he's calling her the B word, and she's a dumb B, and at one point he was like, she basically should be like glad that I even tried to come back and get her. Like he was acting like he reached back into the trash can and tried to dust that sandwich off a little bit. Like, and the sandwich was Malia in the trash. Like it was like he was doing her a favor. But just like I feel like when I love somebody and I care about somebody, I don't call them the B word. I ain't gonna be like that stupid B and that hoe. And I don't talk about people like that I love and I respect. You know what I'm saying? Like me and my girls might joke like B, but not like. No, because Alicia, she a big, like I would not, because that's my girl. Why would I do that to her or Kyrie? That's weird, right? So I was like, there was a high level of disrespect that's going on in his brain, you know, toward her. He really doesn't respect her. And I do agree with what Coral was saying, that like if they got into a situation where it was just him and her, I definitely feel like he has the potential to be dangerous. Dangerous around other men, no, because like Kyrie said, he's the type of dude who would back down with somebody who has a bigger bark, you know what I'm saying, run upon him. But physically, women aren't typically as strong as a man. So I think that, if he was in a situation with Malia and she was giving him that rah, 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 and he just didn't want to hear it no more, like what would stop him from backhanding her? What would stop him from attacking her? Like, okay, I've had all of your mouth today now, I'm not having that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so no, he's not somebody that I would ever feel comfortable with being alone with. There would always have to be multiple people around, because I see him as he was snatching her up at the club and grabbing her, and that was in front of everybody. Could you imagine if he went to the store right before it closed and there was nobody else in there? Like it could, he might knock over a rack of clothes. Like it could really go down. So yes, I think Mike is dangerous, and I don't think Malia should ever be alone with him because he's already very unstable.
I think after that liquid courage wore off, he cried when he was at home.
Oh, he definitely cried. I mean, he was hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because like he said, he's been keeping tabs on her. You know, he let her know that he has a faithful source who runs information by him. So all this time, he's, sitting pretty in Northern California at his father-in-law's, big firm. And he has a beautiful wife and a child. And his life is feeling pretty good. But he's still on the phone calling back home. Hey, what's she doing? What she did? And it probably makes him feel good to be like, that was the best thing she ever had. And she can't move on. So now you see her walking arm in arm with somebody else who's holding his own in that suit. My God. Baby had body, and he was really hurt. He's really hurt, and I'm glad. So even though none of this is real, still feels good.
All right, our next question comes from Brooke from Carson City. What was it about Malia that fascinated Chan so much? Does he ask for her number? I think he just sensed a familiarity with her, and she probably has an amazing booty. So, that usually turns the head like, oh, okay, I think I would like to get to know that, this typical male response, right? But he definitely felt something, when he saw her. So as far as did he get the digits, you'll have to keep reading. Alicia?
Okay, sorry, took me a minute. I mute myself. I think he's fascinated with her beauty, and plus, he's not exactly 100% sure, but this is who he thinks he may have been dreaming about. And they had a previous encounter where they both were feeling each other, but didn't make a move, at the wedding reception. So there's a few things that come in play. She's gorgeous. That, it seems easy for them to talk. You know, that could fascinate a guy. And yeah, I think at the end of this chapter, it tells you, or no, you have to keep reading to find out if he asked for her number. It did surprise her that he didn't right away, but yeah, you have to keep reading. Corwin.
Yes, can you repeat the question, please? I'm sorry.
What was it about Malia that fascinated Chan so much? Does he ask for her number?
You know, I'm not really sure exactly what fascinated him about her so much, but then again, though, he could be an Asian guy with a black, with a black fetish and whatnot. So that could be something. I mean, let's be honest about it. You do have people that have these fetishes for black women. It's not that they necessarily respect them or they really want to make them their wives. I will go as far as saying that I know a gentleman now who I was talking to a few weeks ago, and he was talking to me and off comments about his wife and where she comes from. Comes from, I believe, the Philippines or somewhere. But the comments that he was making that I did better for her, and she has a much better life over here than she had there. And I think for some people, they are either looking to save somebody because of their cultural norms or who they are as a people. And then other times, just like, yeah, I just like the brown stuff or whatever. So I don't actually think that he is. I don't think Chan's a good guy. I'm just going to leave it at that. And I think we all know that the guy is a criminal, but whatever.
Thank you. Also, you're probably wondering, what is she using over there? I am using some cocoa butter by Corenna Khieu. She makes her own. And this is the only thing I use for my skin. And it's, if you have issues with eczema or just dry skin, or you just want that real buttery glow, get you some of this. Get you some of this. It's gonna bless your life. Anyways, back to the question. What was it that fascinated him? I love the fact that Alicia, you brought up that there was an encounter on an elevator. They were both at the Benson Hotel, and he was there for whatever reason. She was there for whatever reason. And they had a brief encounter where they talked, and there was this older couple, Morty and Esther, who were just into it. And it was actually quite funny how they were fighting with each other. But there was some kind of a connection. And then you see her get off the elevator, and he's looking like he wanna holler at her, but he didn't say anything. And you can tell she was disappointed, but she pushed it off to the side. Do I think that encounter and the dreams that he's having and she's having, yeah, I definitely feel like it's more intriguing. There's something else going on. But he also said that he liked the conversation they had. Like, let's be honest, most people have very shallow conversations nowadays. Male and females. Let's just be honest, okay? People are somewhere, bragging about their money. They're bragging about what they have for their cars. They're bragging about, I just went shopping about this new purse, or, I'm getting ready to go on a trip, where it's not really anything of like substance. And I'm not against anybody talking about that new bag, sis, or, traveling or doing things. But it was like he was able to have an intelligent conversation with an intelligent, beautiful woman. And it wasn't like, so what kind of car do you drive? You live in a high rise? Like, she wasn't digging for gold. If anything, sis has her own. And so it's probably just really nice to be able to like have a conversation with somebody who's also business minded and also who knows about what's going on in the political world and actually lives with her head, out of the clouds. She's a woman who knows what's going on. She's a respectful, kind woman. So I think all of that was very intriguing, because I think sometimes people do see somebody and they're so dolled up and they got their labels and they got this on, you think very shallow, or this person doesn't really have deep roots, or they don't really have strong opinions on anything. So I think he was just intrigued by her all the way around. That's my thought.
Alicia, you want to read Corwin's that we have next since he can't see it?
Corwin. Ashley from Tampa, Florida says, Erica seems really jealous of Malia and Chan talking. At one point, she offers him a shot from her cleavage. Why is she obsessed with Malia having nothing but sorrow and pain? You still with us, Corwin?
Yes, I'm here. I just think that Erica wants what Malia has, and I think maybe she even wants to be her. Sometimes when you are an empty vessel, you do everything you can to pour into yourself, but you never are full. You never can reach that point where you feel like you are satisfied. You're just always this black hole. And I think when you see someone that seems to be full, even though they don't have everything in their lives, it can make you envious. And so I think she wants to take away what Malia has, because maybe she feels that if she has that, she can finally fill that void in her life.
Well said.
I think Erica, she envies Malia. She envies her life, and she really, I guess she probably feels like she can't have what Malia has, or she doesn't feel like she's as pretty as Malia, or it's probably a list of things that she gripes about concerning Malia. So since she can't, she doesn't feel like she can achieve that, then the flip of that is she wants Malia to feel how she feels. So she wants to take everything from Malia because she feels like she has nothing, and why does Malia deserve to have this, and I'm going to take it from her. And from my understanding, Malia hasn't done anything personally to Erica. She just feels some type of way about, and I always find it interesting when people take that position where they're so upset with you just because you're nice, you're sweet, they see you as cute, and you seem to have friends and everybody seems to like you. And then they're angry with you, and you've literally never done anything to this person. I had a friend years ago. She was just upset with me all the time, and I could never figure out why. And I'm like, did I do something to you? And then she wanted to fight me, and I'm just like, well, what's going on? Let's talk about it. And it was never any real issue that, was brought up. And so somebody told me one day that, she was just jealous of me. And I was just like, well, I don't know why. I don't act like I'm better than her. And I try to be friends with her. And, so I don't know what it is that people just take this position where it's like, well, I'm going to hurt you since I can't be you, or I can't have what you have. It's a weird thing. But I think that's why, she just had.
Alicia Chantelli, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, Erica is just being Erica. This is what she does. I don't know why she's made it her life mission to, try and destroy everything that Malia has. Not destroy, but, to go after her men. And, yeah, she's jealous. She wants her to feel what she feels. And that's just it. That's just Erica being Erica. If Malia was talking to anybody else, that's what she does. She tries to swoop in and why are you paying attention to her? I'm here. I need this attention. Pay attention to me. Forget her. Just jealousy.
Fully agree. It's almost like Erica believes that there was some type of a lottery. And it's like Malia won the lottery. She ended up in this family. And I lost the lottery, and I got stuck over here with Lucia and absent Father James. And I get how growing up that could feel like this person has everything around me that I would want. But like, God, why her? Why not me? Why couldn't I have some of those blessings? I definitely understand feeling that way. But, the book talks about how throughout life, Malia was always there, even as a child, trying to be a friend, trying to show love to her. Erica strikes me as the kid who's like, oh, I wanted that doll. And the other girl's like, oh, well, my mom bought me this doll, but you can take it home for a couple days and play with it like it's yours and just bring it back. Erica strikes me as the type of person that would come back and Barbie's feet would have been burned up, and all her hair would have been cut off and she would have been dipped in paint and, her nose would have been chopped off. Like, Erica strikes me the type of person that even though your situation isn't the best, when you find somebody who like genuinely love you and I want to share everything I have with you, it's not good enough because you shouldn't have it. And if I don't have it, then you don't have it. And it's just like, when I was a kid, now that I'm an adult, like we have these moments of reflection, and I've told Kyrie and, Alicia, hi, Abby. There were things that I didn't have growing up as a kid. And they were both like, you should have told me, girl, because I would have got you this. I would have gave you that. Hi, Isaac. So who's the other one coming around here? Is that Kyrie? Yeah, you go away. Yeah, because me and you, we going to fight. You be in the background yelling and just cutting up. Auntie got something for that, baby. So, my friends, though, like, they were always like, Corenna, like, they would give me the shoes off their feet. They would give me the shirt off their back because they loved me like that. Erica had a problem with accepting the love from other people. Like, yeah, life wasn't great for her, but she made it worse for herself by the way she acted. Next question.
Angie also writes, why hasn't Malia beat Erica's ass yet? I don't know why she hasn't done it yet, but who's to say that it ain't coming? That's my answer. Corwin, you still around?
The gaslighter has not responded, so I'll respond in his place. I will say that I believe that Malia is having a moment of like an awakening. She's no longer putting up with the stuff that she's put up with before in the past. And even right now with the situation that she's going on with Erica, she's drawn some pretty clear lines in the sand, where she's got family, she's got friends. Everybody's like, well, come on, let's just try, because they were so used to before when they would have fallen outs, they could just kind of, throw a blanket on it and it'll be okay again. And I just really believe that Malia's in a different place and she's not playing games. I think it's in her to do so. I think that if Erica keeps trying her, Malia gonna put the paws all over that body yaddy. Next question. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Last question.
Tearing up all your soul.
How would a man whose behavior has changed show you so? Like in the case of Mike. Oh, I'm sorry. Ain't no going back. Ain't nothing to show me. You better hope you can show the next person that you are a quality man of character and hope she gives you a chance. But it's a wrap over here, buddy.
I agree. I think that there's no change behavior with Mike. He wasn't sorry when he came back. He didn't feel bad for how he treated her. I think when somebody is changed, when somebody is technically sorry, you see it. And you don't see it necessarily in words, but you see it in demeanor, you see it in actions. And also I feel like true remorse and true sorry, being truly sorry, is accepting what you've done to people and accepting that the hurt that you've inflicted on this person might mean that I've lost them forever. And if by chance I've lost this person forever because of something that I've done that was ugly to them and they can't move past it, and then I wish that person well. I'm always going to love you. I'm always going to hold you in my heart. I'm never going to forget what we did have. It'll be a regret to the day I die that I ruined something that could have possibly been beautiful. But I've changed enough. I've changed enough. I've healed enough. I'm taking accountability as a human being to know that I don't have any rights to you. I don't own you. If you don't want to come back to me, I fully understand that, because I don't think 1% of what a lot of guys would put a woman through, they could go back. Women are, he's sorry. His father left when he was 5 and his mother's boyfriend, he was mean to him. He was an alcoholic. We will make every excuse in the book for why this man is now. inflicting abuse on me because of his traumatic childhood. Well, guess what? Guess what? I had me some stuff that happened in my childhood too, but I didn't treat you that way. And some people would say, well, everybody processes pain differently. You're right. But with me processing my pain, I didn't choose to make my pain your pain. I didn't choose to project that ugly, toxic waste onto you and ruin your life too. And that's the difference, okay? So I don't think Mike has changed. He's not sorry. He came back for part 2. He feels entitled to her, and he doesn't really feel like she has a choice. So nah, he ain't sorry. He's not sorry, because people who are truly sorry show it in their actions. They don't necessarily say it in their words, but their whole demeanor and their whole aura shows that this is a different person. Alicia, have you already answered?
I haven't answered, but I pretty much agree. For me personally, there is no show. Once I've just decided to walk, I'm gone. There's no way of showing me that you've changed. Good luck. You needed that. If you did change, you needed that, and I hope you're a better man to the next woman. But you'll always be what you were to me, because for me to walk away, believe me, you've had plenty of time and chances and opportunities to change, and you chose not to. So something about me didn't inspire that change. So therefore, I don't want to see. Yeah, I'm not worried about any new change. Yeah. Good luck for the next one. That's
I agree.
Well said.
Is Corin gone?
Yes, he's gone. Thank God. Any last final thoughts from you ladies that you want to share?
No.
Well, I will say that I think this episode was very thought-provoking. There was a lot of internal analysis. There was a lot of, taking accountability, looking at red, flags. There was a lot of putting focus on where it needed to be at the end of the day. You can't control what other people choose to do. Only thing you can choose to do is remove yourself from situations that don't serve you. So I have enjoyed the conversation. That's all for this episode of Rose City The After Show. We hope you enjoyed our discussion on episode 8. Don't forget to tune in next week. We will be diving into episode 9. If you haven't already read, what are you waiting for? The first 3 chapters are free on Kindle Vella. So there's no excuse. Come on, get with it. So we are sure that you will be hooked and wanting more, just like the rest of us. Every week there's new episodes that are being published. So we just published episode 30 and 31. We love hearing from our readers. So please add your thoughts, questions, and theories to the comments, or reach out to us on Rose City The After Show on Facebook. All links will be provided in the description. Again, thank you for tuning in. We will see you again next week in Rose City. Bye.